Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, the UPSC IIM Guy. And in the second episode of Drishti Series, we have Deepika ma'am with us. Welcome ma'am.
Thank you.
So Deepika ma'am is working in CDS office at IIM Visakhapatnam, and also she is assistant professor who teaches strategy consulting and other subjects at IIM Visakhapatnam. Apart from it, she holds PhD degree from IIM Bangalore and is a first attempt chartered accountant with an all India rank of 9th. Also, she has 12 years of experience in BSc and other companies. And apart from this, guys, she is the world's most influential business leaders to follow in 2023 by World's Leader, 10 most disruptive business leader to follow in 2023 by CIO Look India, and the powerful women business leaders to watch in 2023 by CIO by Time Iconic India. So welcome once again, ma'am.
Thank you.
And ma'am, could you please brief about your journey, like from BSc to coming to IIM Visakhapatnam and coming to the teaching line when you have such an entrepreneurial leadership and other skills and all that. So why you have opted the teaching lines and what was your career journey and all in a brief?
Okay. So firstly, thank you for having me for this discussion or your great initiative that you're doing for your channel. To begin my journey, so I did my CA way back in 1997, and at that time the country was facing financial crisis also, so there were no jobs in the market. So that was the time when I thought I'll again work with a chartered accountant. Is where I began my, you can say, the work experience started. It began. Then I worked with the chartered accountant for almost 3 years. Learned a lot of things again, so which we don't learn generally in a internship for the chartered accounting course. So I learned again a lot of things, and that was a time when I applied to Bombay Stock Exchange. That was in the year 2000, and I was lucky enough to get selected, and I joined as a management trainee. So I worked there as management trainee for 1 year as per the rules of the exchange, and I was promoted as deputy manager. And then that is where the real the challenge began. So a lot of learnings in the stock exchange. I was in the surveillance department, and I remained in the surveillance department for a very long time due to a lot of things, because we had a big group of the chartered accountants and the MBA finance in our department. And that's where a lot of things about understanding the stock exchange, the market, how do you do investigation in some of the problems that we experience in the stock exchange, price rigging, manipulation of stock prices, manipulation of the quantity of shares being sold. A lot of these things were investigated, and being a part of that, that was the initial thing, that looking at things from different perspective is what I learned there. So CA definitely played a great role, because you have to deal with numbers at most of the times, and that was very helpful at that point of time. That was a time where I continued working with the stock exchange for almost 4 to 5 years in Bombay. Then due to personal reasons, we shifted to Delhi, and that was where I have to move out from the surveillance department. So when I moved to Delhi, the job was more about business development. It was more from the marketing perspective, where because our direct competitor is National Stock Exchange. So we wanted to have more members, and if you look at that point of time in the year 2004-5, Bombay Stock Exchange membership in the north was not the way you had it for the National Stock Exchange. We were a poor performer in the north. That was a time when I went to the Delhi center. We have a regional center at Delhi. The main job that was given to me was to develop business and to have more members who can take the stock exchange, the BSc membership. Those times, it was a lot of roaming in the city. I came to know about Delhi in more greater detail. A lot of learning, meeting members. That I continued for almost 4 to 5 years, and because of the number of members that got increased from almost, I think we were around somewhere around in the 40-50s total members that we had, I was able to take it to almost double it, or more than double. We reached somewhere around 105, 110, and I used to look at a lot of other things as well. looking at problems of the members, looking at how what are the issues the members are facing, directly contacting the stock exchange, because we were working more like a branch office. So the head office was Bombay. How do you coordinate, and doing a lot of things for keeping the members connected to the stock exchange. So most of the initiatives were from the head office, but we were there to implement it at most of the time. That was another 4-5 years that I spent there as the manager for business development, is where we had the career, you can say the designation repositioning. And that is where I was made the regional head for the northern, for the entire north, because the center point was Delhi, and now we were catering to the entire of the northern part of the country. During the same time, given that my forte was more on the finance side and related activities, marketing, somehow I was not very happy with that, yeah, because you have to go really travel too much. And again, my father was not keeping well that time. So I have to be at home at most of the time, is where I thought, let me look for a change in my job career. So I applied to a lot of places, but then the problem was, given that I was very focused on a niche segment, stock exchanges are a niche market, looking for a career shift was a problem. So many of them suggested, why don't I do an additional course, and maybe that may be helpful. I've already done CA, I already did CS, I already had a master's in financial services and management, which is equivalent to an MBA finance course. So the only choice left was to do a PhD, or maybe do a MBA from a foreign country. So I applied to IIM Bangalore that point of time. I got selected, and that's how I landed up with going to Bangalore. That was in a way easy and difficult. It was a challenge for me, because being in Bangalore, you have to be there to undergo all the requirements of the course, which is very rigorous. Plus, at least I knew that at least in the term break, I can go home and meet my father, who was continued to be unwell for a very long time. At least I can help, during those breaks. So that's how I did PhD. And once PhD was done, I think it was almost, it took almost 6 to 7 years for the PhD to get over. I needed a break. So I actually took a 1-year break, because I felt PhD was very tiring for me. And that's how I took a break. And after the break, I thought, should I go to, again, back to corporate or back to academics? So that was a dilemma. And I think I should thank IIM Bangalore for helping me solve out this dilemma, where my guide actually said that when you do a PhD, it is time for you to give back to the society. You have to return back what you have learned from one of the premier institutions of this country. I applied to IIM Visakhapatnam. That was the only place where I applied, because there was an opening at that point of time. I got selected, and then I'm here. That's the journey in a nutshell. So from 97 almost, when I passed my CA, to 2018, yeah. So I had a long journey, but yeah, I spent almost 12 years in the stock exchange, and a lot of fond memories. Yeah, that's the diamond years of my career. And I hope I have another diamond year career here as well. Yeah, so
that's very interesting journey. And क्या होता है कि बहुत लोग PhD या कुछ बड़ी डिग्री लेने के बाद मतलब जो ये थॉट प्रोसेस है ना कि वी आर गिविंग बैक टू सोसाइटी, दैट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, और ये सीरियसली बहुत लोगों को इंस्पायर भी करेगा लोगों को.
I had friends, like मेरे जो साथ के जो लोग थे, some of them went to corporate, but then the problem is IIM Bangalore was not happy with that. And so everybody has its own choices, but the thought process of a PhD is that you have to go back to academics, because then you have to give it back, because we are paid as PhD students, we are paid for our research, we are paid for our conferences, and then I think many of the premier institutions have the same thought process. They want their students who are PhDs from these institutions should join another institution and teach the next generation. Yeah, so that's how they look at it.
Great, ma'am. So, ma'am, currently, like in the IIM Visakhapatnam, you have been the head of the career development services and all that centers and all. So, ma'am, आपने like recent years में what you have observed in the MBA candidates, like what are the key skills the industries are looking for, but the MBA candidates are lacking behind. The second thing of this question is like, what are the key skill at this point of time? They have it right now, but 5 years down the line, it will be weak. Like it will not be valid. like that. Can you
Ah.
put some insight?
So when I joined the institute, so I was actually helping the earlier CDS chair, that is Professor Ganesh Prabhu, who I think was the CDS chair even in IIM Bangalore. So I had some learnings from him. How do you coordinate things? How do you look at the placement processes? So that time things were different. So this is pre-COVID. So when I joined the institute, I joined in 2018. The requirements of the industry was very clear. So they had a very clear focus. There were no requirement where they worried about uncertainties. So we were very clear what to teach our students. Students used to read and come prepare, and they used to get there used to be some students जो 2-3 बार appear होते थे interviews में. But at least they knew what the questions will be. They used to do it. I think it was more of self study. Post COVID, I think क्या हो गया है कि because of COVID we all were at home and we were used to that you can say convenience of being at home, and that has hit now. And so जब बच्चे वापस आए हैं institute में, they are still into that mind frame that now things will be convenient for them. That is hitting on many of the students. I think it will still take time for some of the students to realize that we have to do a lot of hard work. So आज के तारीख में the issue is students don't read most of the time. So we have to do a lot of spoon feeding to the students. So if the students are prepared in the class, if they, whatever subjects they take or whatever electives they bid, they have to be serious with them, and they have to ensure that the electives that are selected will add value in their placement process or whatever their aspirations are. So अगर मुझे जॉब करना है ऑपरेशंस सेक्टर में, आई शुड टेक सब्जेक्ट्स बिलोंगिंग टू दैट. अगर मैं कोई मार्केटिंग सब्जेक्ट या अनरिलेटेड सब्जेक्ट या व्हाटएवर सब्जेक्ट दैट इज नॉट what will benefit me अगर मैं ले लेती हूँ, I don't know why I am taking it, but I am taking it because मेरे दोस्त ले रहे हैं, या it has an easy marking scheme, or the faculty is comfortable to be dealt with, then I'm not adding value to my future career skills. So the subjects what the students are selecting have to be very carefully understood, or they need a proper mentoring about what subjects they should select, because many of the students are not aware. Even if my liking is marketing, should I take a subject on economics or should I take a subject on finance? Even if I like those subjects, how are they going to add value into my marketing interest? That they should be very clear. If that is clear, I think they will automatically learn, yeah, because वो आपके interest में आ जाता है, and then you learn them automatically. If you don't do that, then you are just sitting for the classes and you don't know what to do. You go unprepared even in an interview because you are not decided what is to be done. And बहुत बार स्टूडेंट्स सोचते हैं कि देखेंगे इंटरव्यू में क्या होता है. सो बहुत बार स्टूडेंट्स खुद के रेज्यूमे भी पढ़ के नहीं आते, व्हाट दे देमसेल्फ हैव रिटन इन द रेज्यूमे, बिकॉज resumes are written at least 3 months early or 6 months early or 4 months early. It is my duty either to update the resume and read what I have written. So बहुत बार जो recruiters होते हैं, they ask sometimes direct questions from the resume, or they will ask you something from the job description itself. At least you are aware what you have to do when you join my company. अब अगर वो ही नहीं पता है तो the next technical round का कोई मतलब नहीं रह जाता है, because some of the companies test whether you have read what you have submitted. If that is clear, then they go to the next round. Otherwise, shortlisting is done then and there. Many of these students fail in the first or the second round itself. They are not able to reach the actual technical rounds. Technical rounds, some of us, again, reading is important. And the problem with the students is they are not serious about reading. Plus the current knowledge. So even if I don't read the textbooks that are given for the course, let me read at least periodicals, newspapers. I keep myself abreast, or I at least watch TV channels for a proper current knowledge. So many of the companies are not asking technical questions. They only ask something about what is happening in the industry, what is happening in the sector. Because if I, as a company, if you are not aware about the industry, what will you do when you join me?
Yes.
So how would you work with your reporting officer? Yeah. So if I'm not at all aware, automatically scanning ho jata hai system mein. So I feel that students should read in the current scenario, which I'm looking at after now the COVID also. So I've been handling this CDS position now, I think 3rd year in a row. Earlier also I held it almost 2-3 years. So I am like barring 1 year, I think for the past out of a tenure of 6 years, I think 5 years I have been handling CDS chair position. And that's what I have understood, that we have boiled down from a very generic way of training students to spoon feeding students now, because students are not abreast, or given the number of students also increasing and the jobs getting limited, we need students to get placed faster. No, even that cycle is pushing even us to make you. I don't know if we are standardizing some of these things with the students. That is also happening, because when you have training processes, it's like a standardization process. Down the line, given a lot of artificial tools that are coming and a lot of noise that is being made, that these things will eat away the jobs.
GPT ma'ams and all that.
Yeah, so you have all of that where the noise is, where they will eat away the jobs. The important thing to realize is that even when the jobs are lost, you need people to handle the tools. So your skill set need to be changed. I think it is time where institutions, even colleges, even institutions, premier institutions also have to rethink about their academic content. What are we teaching the students? Are we including something latest in our syllabus? If not 4 sessions, if not 5 sessions, at least 1 session to begin with. And then maybe we scale it up as we go further. So that will add a lot of value to the learning. What are the changes in that particular subject there, where, or say if I'm teaching consulting, for example, last time when I taught strategy consulting, how are maybe next year when I again float it, I need to have a session where I have to include how AI is going to change the way the strategy consulting is looking. So, and what is happening in that world. So what are the tools that are there? I may not give an hands-on experience of all the tools, but at least one tool. Can I really do that with the student? And then maybe in the next year, I scale it up from 1 class, I can make it 2 class. So even it's not that, we always blame recruiters or the students. Even the institutions have to rethink. We have to also unlearn, relearn. Yeah, you have all these fancy words. It is time for us also to do the same thing. So I feel that in the next 5 years, technological development is really going to have an impact, but it doesn't mean that jobs will get lost. Jobs will get redesigned. So you have to read it. So I have to actually, now my content has to move in that direction, because I know the outcome. I know that there is a job where a student should know how to handle a technology advancement in whatever they want to do, whether it is, say you are into the operations area, then you should understand how a digital twin may work, or you should understand how do I use maybe a virtual reality mechanism in an operations setup. So that you will know only when you know the theory about it, or you know the dynamics of it. Otherwise, using the tool directly may not help. But the job is not gone. The job has become more complex.
It has been redesigned.
It has been redesigned. It has become more complex. And now I have to train you accordingly. Yeah? So that's how I look at those in the future. Yeah, another maybe 4-5 years. Yeah.
But here comes our next question, ma'am. Generally, जो tier 2 and tier 3 के कुछ colleges हैं, उनके students का भी मेरे को message आया था कि they are just worried about the placement scenario right now, like post COVID in India. Tier 2, tier 3, during engineering candidates also, और MBA candidates तो हैं कि how our placements will be done and all that, jobs है कि नहीं है. And the ma'am, contrary आप यहाँ पे देखिए कि they are using all the assignments and all the things done by ChatGPT. They are not upgrading themselves. They are not reading whatever you have said. That is 100% true. They are using ChatGPT and all that, and they are thinking that they should be get placed. So what are your first? The question is, what are your intake की like अभी placement scenario इंडिया में कैसा चल रहा है, कैसा है engineers और MBA candidates के लिए jobs वगैरह कैसा है. Second, ये जो बंदे हैं जो मतलब चैट जीपीटी वगैरह ये सब करके अपने आप को स्किल नहीं कर रहे, उन लोगों के लिए फ्यू लाइंस में क्या सजेशन रहेगा?
ओके, तो पहले आई विल स्पीक अबाउट द सिनेरियोज दैट यू फाइंड, द करंट सिनेरियो दैट लास्ट ईयर से ही ये शुरू हुआ है. आई थिंक एवरीबडी वुड बी नोइंग दैट इवन इंस्टीट्यूशंस लाइक IIMs had a tough time, and many of the IIMs, even premier IIMs like ABC and even Lucknow and many of these institutions, जो कि 1-2 दिन में ही अपना पूरा प्रोसेस खत्म कर लेते थे unofficially, they also went into 2-3 months. That was unofficial. So there have been rumors and there have been a lot of news where some of the IIMs had some students left in the end, and somehow they got placed, and that's how they closed it. We also had a lot. So given that hamare IIM, we are a new IIM, and hamara jo process chalta hai placement ka, it goes on for 4-5 months. So if you really look before last year, we were able to close placements by 31st December of the same year. Last year hum wo nahi kar paye. It went on till I think mid of Feb. We almost extended it by 1.5 months, and then only we were able to declare results. Now the challenge was that this is true for all the institutions, and why it is hitting badly on the engineering students is because the artificial intelligence, the technology is more connected to the engineering students than the other students or the other colleges. So as a management institution, I may not be directly impacted by the technology, but compared to a science institution, or maybe an IIT or an NIIT, or maybe even other engineering colleges, that impact is not direct. जो काम बहुत सारे companies who used to take engineering students, most of them used to do coding, and now coding is getting done by these tools. Yeah, so I just have to put in some data and I think I get a ready-made code. That is what I have understood.
10 लोगों का काम एक लोग
हाँ, तो basically if you know how to do, enter data into the chat GPT, I'll just enter it. I may not knowing, if I don't know coding, but I know how to use a chat GPT, I will just put in all the data, I get a code. अब वो सही है कि गलत है, maybe I'll tell an engineer. So I get an output which is handled by, say, a non-engineer, and it is cross-checked by one engineer or two engineers. So, but if अगर यही काम मैं normal scenario में करती, then I would have needed, say, 10 engineers to do the coding. And then you have all placements getting done through all the engineering colleges. Now that is where that trouble has begun, and it is not just in India, even worldwide the problems are existing. Even US had a very bad job scenario last year. This year also the news is that the job scenario in the US is not that great. Many of their MBA students are actually doing very low petty jobs also this year. So I have seen some of the cases where, or I have come to know where MBA students from good colleges in the US are also working in maybe Walmarts or maybe in restaurants or small places. So that scenario is continuing this year. We are also having a very slow process of recruitment beginning this year, and मुझे इस साल भी यही expectation है कि it will go a little longer even this year. One of the main reasons which is being quoted is elections in the US. So we have to wait till November. Now there are a lot of, you can say again, not official news, but when you talk to a lot of industry people, they all say that after November, things will be more better, where the economy will find a revival again. And US markets may things will be more stable, because then now they know that another 4 years they will have some stability. Based on that, they are feeling that IT sector will find some solution of this impact of artificial intelligence. Even in conferences, you find no consensus about where this artificial intelligence will go. They themselves are confused. Many of them don't know what that technology is leading to. So we are also struggling, not struggling, but we are also having a slow start. And I think it will again go beyond 31st December that normally have been our benchmark. Like last year, I think this year also we'll have it. But given the elections and given the other things that are happening, I think next year will be more better placement. Now, जो engineering college के बच्चे हैं, I know again you have to rescale. है ना, बहुत बार क्या होता है कि when you have recruitment processes, student submissions भी chat GPT से आते हैं.
Exactly, ma'am.
And then the recruiters, even हमारे बच्चे भी वही काम करते हैं, MBA के बच्चे भी वही कर रहे हैं, जो because ultimately students are the same. Yeah, you have in chat GPT, I also have it. Now the interesting part is recruiters know that you have used chat GPT. Now one thing that I think we should make it as a student, when I'm applying for jobs, I should be honest in saying I have used chat GPT. If I think that is done, many of the companies look only for honesty, because they need honest employees. So even if you are using a chat GPT, which is not wrong, it's not illegal to use it, but am I making it clear from day one that the submission that is done, or whatever I have submitted as a part of the recruitment process, maybe an asterisk, chat GPT was used. No, even now in the research area also, when we make submissions, there is a question, have you used AI or generative AI for this submission? They have started using. So let us be honest in that. I think because of that, I think if not all, but at least 5 to 10% of the students may get placed by default, because honesty is displayed, and and companies really need ethical, honest, and students with integrity, because that's what they are looking for.
And these AI tools, what I think is AI tools can be used for the framing, the structure and all
Yeah,
that.
but then you have to be honest in that I have used this instead of my what do you call it, natural intelligence. So because if I write an answer, I have written it. But when I'm doing through chat GPT, it is some, the machine's brain that is giving me the answer, or whatever, the server or wherever it is. Am I honest in declaring that? I think if we do that, I know there are some companies के ये भी सोच सकते हैं कि यार ये तो chat GPT से ignore कर दो और delete कर दो. But there are companies who appreciate it also. We have to be honest in telling it, and because standardization हो जाता है, and it is easy to catch because some of the paragraphs are same. When you put it into chat GPT, you may get some 3 paragraphs out of which one will be the same. You don't know. Then if you are the recruiter, if you compare 2-3 answers, you know that they are all copied and you reject all them. But if I am honest in declaring कि भाई this was chat GPT, at least you will speak to that student. Yeah, you will feel that ये बंदा तो honest था बताने में. Let me call that fellow for an interview. At least I feel it that way. If I had been on the recruiter side, then I will at least say चलो ये बंदे ने honestly declare किया, मैं बुला के let us have a word with this fellow. सिलेक्ट करना है कि नहीं करना है तो बाद में होगा, बट एटलीस्ट यू आर कॉल्ड फॉर एन इंटरव्यू.
इंटरव्यू में है तो फिर उनकी क्या स्किल्स है,
हाँ, then naturally, yes, that's honesty is missing these days. Yeah, people adhere to these things, but they don't show off. No, they don't say. But I have seen some students in some of the elective very honest in the presentation. They say we use chat GPT. That adds a lot of value. I know I may feel bad that they have not used their intelligence. But at least उसने बंदे ने बोल तो दिया कि भाई मैंने ये कॉपी किया है तो कॉपी किया है, no, very honestly. So it adds lot of value is what I feel. Even when you're looking at some of these processes, struggle will be there. I think this year at least we will still face some problems. We'll have to wait till 4th November results, how it is getting, and then maybe we'll have an understanding of how the recruitment is evolving.
मैम जो इस साल से आपके कोर्सेज लेंगे उनके लिए बहुत अच्छा. Now one of the last question in the last leg we are coming to. So those students who are appearing for this time CAT exam and all that, okay. So they are saying कि भैया like किस तरीके के like अगर मैं CAT क्वालिफाई भी, उनका अच्छा परसेंटाइल आया था पिछले बार भी, बट इंटरव्यू क्लियर नहीं हो पाया या उन्हें कोई IIMs नहीं मिला. तो उनके 2 क्वेश्चन है मैम. पहला कि भैया मतलब इंटरव्यू में व्हाट दे लुक फॉर, व्हाट आर द एट्रीब्यूट्स दे लुक फॉर इन द आइडियल कैंडिडेट टू गेट इन द MBA. सेकंड कि भैया अगर इफ दे आर नॉट गेटिंग इनटू IIMs or some premier institute in top 20-25 like that, so do they go for like other institute who have the ranking of 30-35-40 like that and all?
Okay, so I'll answer the last question first.
Yes ma'am.
So see, doing an MBA from a premier institution से करिए या कहीं से भी करिए, ultimately you have the same job market. So the only difference that you will feel may be salary structure. So if I am from IIM Ahmedabad, I may get say 30 lakhs. If he is from IIM Visakhapatnam, say he may get 25 lakhs. Ultimately काम तो वही करना है and you will be in the same place. The important part here is, a brand value may have a value because that's where the salary will get a little different. It is not that you always target for the top. If you are good, it is जैसे हम स्कूल के लिए भी सोचते हैं कि local school is better than staying at a distance. Unless and until you are tired of your home, I think we should be where the home is, because it leads to a lot of benefits. घर के पास रहना is more, at least I prefer it. Given that if you get an opportunity to do an MBA from IIM, yes, you should do it. So because that will be a different experience. It's all a matter of experiencing things. Ultimately पढ़ाना तो वही है. Even if you do it from a
sorry to cut you मैम, but यहीं पे ये क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं कि क्या अगर इस बार मेरा एग्जाम्स में क्लियर नहीं हुआ तो 1 साल मैं वेट करूं, ये करूं कि मैं डायरेक्टली वहां पे एडमिशन ले लूं? Clear cut question.
अच्छा, so you can try for the one more time, but I don't know if that will really help you out. It all depends upon how you are looking at the thing. So अगर मुझे है कि भाई मुझे इसी साल MBA करना है, then you can join any college. But if you can do that waiting game and you want to take risk, definitely you should try कि भाई मेरा अच्छा हो जाएगा percentile. But अगर percentile अच्छा नहीं हुआ, then what do? You have missed the bus last year also, you will miss the bus this year also. So basically आपको दोनों तरफ से ही प्रॉब्लम हो गया है,
अपॉर्चुनिटी
कॉस्ट बढ़ता है, and then it delays the whole process also. So either you join a college, but you can still give it a shot. You can leave the college in 6 months, so you will know the result. और एक साल करके भी you can move to a IIM. Yeah, so it will be more of repeating the same thing in an IIM. You may have some benefit there also. You know, you have already learned something which maybe whatever level it was, but now you have a different perspective also of that. It's the same thing. You may feel it boring to do the same thing again in the, you know, when you join the other institution, or you may find that was better and better that you have not joined anything else and you continue in the second year, because the job market is going to be the same companies will be there. You may have some difference in the salary. The important thing here is when you are done with an MBA, whether from an IIM या कहीं से भी आप करिए, the important thing is how you perform in your corporate life. Yeah, because if you may be a smart guy, but IIM में नहीं मिला admission, whatever reasons, you will show it in your corporate career. Yeah, that will automatically come out, and then it becomes immaterial whether you are from an IIM or a non-IIM, because I have seen some of these conditions where we had stock exchange, maybe CAs and MBA finance. We had two groups. So it doesn't mean that you are a CA, that means you will be always better than an MBA finance. We had MBA finance who were better than CAs also. So ultimately, you are in the same department. That time कोई ये पूछेगा नहीं कि भाई तुम्हारे बैकग्राउंड, तुम IIM अहमदाबाद से हो कि कहाँ से हो, कुछ नहीं. The job, the काम जो किया वो मैटर करता है. And how you are quick in your performances, how you quick you are in your adhering to the guidelines or rules that are being given, how you are involved into the work that you are doing. A lot of things will play a role in when you enter the corporate world. It may be a waiting time at times where you may not get a preference to join a particular company or you join some other company. But when you enter into the corporate world, shifting jobs become easier. Yeah. So even if I am a non-IIM, so I was not from IIM. When I passed my CA, it is not an IIM. We had a MBA from IIM also. One person was there. He was in the MD office. He used to do something other than what we used to do. It doesn't mean that कि भाई मुझे भी वहीं जाना है. So it is all what we are looking for. So my thought on this is, if you can do a waiting game and it is not delaying your process in the life, because life will go on. Many of us in the PhD program, especially, I have seen this because I did PhD from IIM Bangalore, where students will PhD students बोलेंगे कि अभी हम शादी नहीं करेंगे, पहले हम PhD कर लें. But you don't know it is uncertain. कब होगा पता नहीं, and you cannot delay some of the decisions in your life. So that will continue. Yeah, you will have to get married, you will have kids, and then your process flows. MBA is a 2-year program. You can do that waiting game for some decisions in life. But still, I don't know, even in the batches that I have taught, I have seen a lot of things happening. Sister ka shadi ho raha hai, brother ka shadi ho raha hai. Even I think the student may also get married at times during the program. You cannot stop it. So if you can play a waiting game, you can try, give it a next shot. But agar usme bhi, if you are not successful, I think you should join. Some of the families are okay with 1-year wait. Some of the families say कि जो मिलता है वो करके खत्म करो. Ultimately आपको तो जॉब में ही जाना है. It's just a matter of money. If you are really after money, then I think you delay the whole process. If I'm okay with, I have to be satisfied at some level. If I'm able to achieve that, I think then this question may not arise. Yeah.
And the first question, ma'am, what you are looking in an interview?
Okay.
CAT question. वो लोग बहुत कम से कम 10-15 messages आ चुके हैं मुझे.
So see, I have done some interviews for the MBA students. See, one thing is, once you pass CAT, every IIM has its own admission criteria. So every year the admission criteria may undergo a change. Any IIM, I'm talking more from the IIM perspective, because that's what I can understand. I don't know about other MBA students, whether they redo their the requirements under MBA. I have no idea on that. But from the IIM perspective, every year there is the committee will relook at the rule book, and based on last year's CAT cutoffs and the students that we get and the placement results that we have, average salary, the number of years that you want, the minimum number of years that you want from a student who will enter the system, all that is looked into. and plus the students who have passed, what is their average, say the gender, how many female, how many males, what is their average experience, etc etc, 10th standard सब सारा पूरा academic का देखते हैं. And then if required the rules are adjusted. I will not say change, they are adjusted. So अगर कोई साल में ऐसा हो जाएगा कि भाई suddenly the MBA, or say we feel we need more of female candidates, yeah, so because we are tracking other IIMs also, what is happening with other IIMs is also seen. अगर हमें suddenly लगता है कि भाई no, हमारे पास हमेशा female candidates are only 10%, we want to make it 20%, we have to adjust some of the criteria. तो criteria adjust करेंगे तो उसमें कुछ कुछ naturally लड़कों को नहीं shortlist किया जाएगा. Then you will have more of female candidates getting shortlisted. So I cannot predict any time what will happen. So it all depends on a lot of factors that in that particular year. And then there is a you can say repositioning of the rules. Based on that, we shortlist students, and once the students are shortlisted is where you get the interview calls. So even if I may have a very good percentile, I may not be called for interview. ऐसा हो सकता है because the criteria have changed. Yes, but then we get a lot of RTI queries also कि मेरा rank ये था and I was expecting a call. I have applied for IIM Visakhapatnam and you did not call me. क्यों नहीं किया? We get RTI queries also. Yeah, so because you can do an RTI query and we reply. So जो भी है हमारा data के हिसाब से that reply goes. Now, when the interview is done, most of the time we look at it. One is experience, definitely that if you have 1 year experience, 6 months experience, 1.5 year, 2 year, 3 year, whatever it is, what you have done in your company, what is the job profile of that you have done. We may ask some questions on that. We will try to check your current affair knowledge. बहुत सारे बच्चे वहीं out हो जाते हैं. Some of them undergo coaching for interview. और बहुत बार हमें पता चल जाता है कि ये कोचिंग करके आया है बंदा और उसके आंसर्स बहुत ज्यादा स्टैंडर्डाइज लगते हैं, देखो उनका वो एक पैटर्न रहता है बोलने का, उसमें पता चल जाता है इट इज नॉट एक्सटेम्पोर और इट इज नॉट व्हाट ही वांट्स टू से. ऐसा लगता है किसी ने सिखाया है और फिर वो बंदा बोल रहा है, अचानक से नहीं आता है, वो भी पता चल जाता है बिकॉज देयर इज अ पैनल ऑफ 2-3 पीपल एंड व्हेन यू कीप ऑन इंटरव्यूइंग वो पता चल जाता है. So there is a failure on current affairs. You ask them what is ASEAN full form, वो नहीं पता. What is a Quad? How many countries? वो भी नहीं पता. बहुत बार वहीं वो fail हो जाते हैं and we understand कि this fellow is not good on current affairs. Then the other thing is some technical knowledge. If you are a BTech in engineering, then somebody will ask, BTech in say computers. Some panelist may ask you some questions on that. That are you still aware? Are you updated? Even though you would have done engineering 3 years ago, because of the work X, you would have got disconnected. But at least some basics are you aware. And why we check that is because tomorrow when you do an MBA and you join a company, interview में तो वो technical पूछेगा ही पूछेगा. उसके वजह से we ask some of these questions. And then we try to understand whether this candidate is fit for the program or not. So उसके basis पे we give them the marks, and marks are out of 10. I think we rate them on the 10. So we rate them on the basis of the English. क्योंकि वो एक थोड़ा many of the interviews are in English. Yes, so how good you are in English? Not that you need to be fluent, but you need to talk good English. Yeah, at least it should make sense. How confident you were in talking? No, are you feeling very nervous? How good you were in your technical thing? How good you were in your current affairs? And how good is why do you want to do an MBA? वो एक question रहता है which looks more standardized than why you want to do it. And some students they say कि हम तो MBA इसलिए करना चाहते हैं क्योंकि मेरे डैडी का बिजनेस है, उसको बढ़ाना है, which looks very natural at times. कि ठीक है, he is doing it and sometimes I feel happy that इसको जॉब तो नहीं देना पड़ेगा. वो एक आ जाता है एंगल भी. No, if I am on the panel, I think it from that perspective. So there are a lot of things that go together and then we do a total. टोटल होने के बाद अगेन वो पूरा शफलिंग होता है एंड देन यू फॉलो ऑल द गवर्नमेंट रिक्वायरमेंट्स ऑफ वेदर इट इज रिजर्वेशन और वेदर व्हाटएवर रूल्स वी हैव, एंड देन यू हैव अ रैंकिंग mechanism and then you start releasing the list. Yeah, that's the process that is done. Now what the students have to do in the interview, please read maths that you can read. Yeah, not just the technical knowledge but the current affairs. Many of the students get out because of lack of current affairs. And some of them will ask some some questions on logical reasoning वगैरह कुछ random रहते हैं but that's just to lighten the moments at time, because many of them are tensed on the screen also. So I've seen both physical and online. Usme same story hai, whether you are on the screen or not on the screen, the issue is the same. Yeah, the confidence levels have to be very high. That is important. Yeah.
So guys, we have covered from the questions from the career journey and experience of the ma'am, to what are the skills gaps in MBA, what is required for you and all. Then what is the present scenario for the placements in India. Then what is the career advice for the aspiring students and all that. So a vast variety of questions we have covered, ma'am, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Hope you will like guys. Thank you.